Hello and welcome to another episode of Terraria Let's Die. Today I've decided to load in as a female character. This character's name is Becca. Um, it's the name of one of my subscribers, so yeah, if you want to become one of my Let's Dies, subscribe, say in the comments, whatever. A little bit weird basically asking someone, hey, do you want to watch yourself die on YouTube? Looking around, loading in, this one's actually pretty good. Got to start with a nice bit of trees. Got a little bit of iron over here, got a little bit of copper here, and some stone over here. Really the only thing that would be any better is if I had a random slime. Checking out my weapons. My sword is hurtful. Kind of sucks that it's a short sword, but the extra 20% damage is going to help for the short bit of the game. Until I replace it with a wooden sword, because wood is somehow more superior than metal. And as you can see, I have a slime trying to beat up my guy. My guy's name is Steve. It's almost my name, which is kind of cool. Well, now that I have a slime, I can make some stuff. I'm gonna go get some rocks so I can start building my furnace. Normally what I would do is set up a small little marker near the starting location. It's like trying to remember exactly where the starting location was. Because of this Let's Die series, I don't expect my characters to actually survive long enough. It really doesn't matter. But normally what I would do is, after I get I'd dig a little bit, about 2 deep, and after I get my first tree, I would place one there, just as kind of like a symbol that, hey, this is where I spawned in. Later in the game, when you start making a elevator, elevator is a long shaft that takes you from the surface all the way down to the underworld. Once you start getting into that point, and when you beat the wall of flesh and enter hard mode, this knowing where the center of the map is useful. It's not required, but it comes in handy. Sadly enough, Steve isn't going to die. He has 250 health, and he's only getting hit for 1 damage each, so that would take a while for a slime to kick his ass. Sadly enough, he's one resilient bastard. Unlike that bunny right there. Because bunny dies in 1 hit. Like a good bunny. Okay, let's see. In order to build a furnace, I'm going to need a torch. I think I need a few... No, I got enough stone. That's nice. It takes 20 stone blocks to build a furnace, so sometimes it's not difficult, but sometimes you just don't get it at the beginning of the game. As you can see, I still have a little bit of copper on that side, and I have iron on this side. But since it's only about halfway through the first day, getting the metals isn't exactly a priority. But since they're here, I'm going to be trying to pick up, or I'm going to try to make a little bit of a house. This time I'm thinking I might make the house out of dirt, since there's a lot of dirt around. And there's really no reason not to make the house out of dirt. So far I've shown a house made out of wood before and a house made out of snow. Normally the first house you want to make it out of either wood or dirt. As you've seen with all these start locations, wood is pretty prevalent around the center of the world. That's just kind of how it works. grass, or the grasslands usually have a lot of natural wood on them, especially the big open areas. Once you start cutting it out, it kind of starts to go low, but that takes a while. Even once you start getting some of the higher axes, it still takes a couple of punches to kill a tree. So it's not like you're walking through a forest and cutting the entire thing down as you walk. Even later on, when you get the I can't remember its name, but the most powerful utility item in the game, it's a drill, a hammer, and an axe at the same time. That item still doesn't take out most trees in one hit. Like, it takes a couple of hits to do a tree. So if you do walking while you mine, you could actually do a lot. Like, you could take out a lot. But you're not going to take out every tree. You're just going to take out most of the trees. One of these days, I'm actually going to get a wiki. Like, I'm going to pull up the wiki page on one of the other screens or something, so that whenever I go to reference something that isn't, or go to reference something that I can't pull off its name off the top of my head, I can just say it. But right now, I'm just a little too lazy for that. Like, as you can see, I have 12 copper and 27 iron. This means I should be able to get 4 more copper bars. Yeah, 4 copper bars. And 9 iron bars. Once you get 5 iron bars, the first thing you want to build is an anvil, because it allows you to make more stuff. As you can see, I don't have enough to build anything else. Well, I could build a chain or a bucket, but at this point in time, the iron would be more useful if I wait to turn it into a pickaxe. Or even something else. I could make a sword. In fact, I'm going to do so right now. Swords only cost 7 wood, so... Like, this one's hurtful, so yeah, 14% damage upgrade. Still does more. If I wanted to, since it's only 7 wood, I could make another one. That one's normal. That one's shameful. That one's normal. That one's nimble. Yeah. Wooden swords, it's not really a big thing to redo them. It's like, yeah, knocking it down, I only have 285 wood now. Yeah, you're doing a lot of stuff with 285. Even though this one's kind of interesting, it's like shameful. It's bigger than normal. I'm like, with a guy, most of the time, it's like, yeah, it does less, but it's bigger. So it's bigger. The size matters, right? That kind of makes up for things, right? Right, guys, come on. But I was lucky. My first wooden one was hurtful. Basically, it's just an increased damage output. Well, that's exactly what it is, a percentage increase to damage. Nimble isn't a bad one either. It's faster. But at this point in time, it's like they're both a fast speed. Even with the 4%, it's a fast speed, so it doesn't actually come too much into play. Again, as I said before, when it comes to using acorns, I don't really like to use acorns that well. It's just not something I'm good at using. I'm not very good at placing them. One of these days, if I ever get around to it, I'll show a picture of my Minecraft world. But it's on another computer, so getting a screenshot from it's a little bit difficult. But I built an entire island to be a forest place, so I could farm wood later on, like when I need it. And I guess I put all the trees too close together because I have like trees that are building or that are growing on top of other trees. So like 20 and 30 blocks high trees. That's not very useful. It's interesting, but it's not very useful. As you can see now, it's getting late. It's about to turn to night. But since I already have this little bit dug out from when I was getting the iron out of it, it's like I'm going to dig this up a little bit more just to get some spare dirt. Building a house out of dirt isn't exactly something you want to do. It's not beneficial most of the time, and in fact most of the time it will actually backfire because dirt gets overrun by grass. There's a way around that, and I'm about to show you. If I remember, if I do this right, it should be the way to show you how to get around that. But okay. Like, as you can see, I took a block out, and I'm putting a stone block in. The reason for this is because as you progress through the game, as time progresses, dirt, as you can see, gets overrun by grass. Well, that's all fine. Grass actually even makes it a little bit harder for you to mine, because you have to knock the grass out before you can knock the dirt out. But at the same time, this is a slight problem because grass grows tall grass. As you can see, like this little bit right here, it's taller than normal. Well, the problem with that is plain and simple. One of the reasons for having a house is your NPCs, like this guide and a few other things, will go there at night for protection. They require one block to stand on so that they can be protected at night. Like they stand there, and that's all they'll do is stand there at nighttime. Hopefully, if I can get this up and not like screw up somehow. Go to the house, put him here. It's missing a light source. Okay. Yeah, that's why I built those torches. It's kind of funny that the furnace doesn't actually count as a light source, even though it actually produces light. Awkwardly enough. But as you can see here, he's just standing there. One thing that will happen, though, is if the grass starts to grow, like where he's standing, the grass can't grow, which is really interesting because I didn't think he could stand there. But if the grass starts growing around this, he can't actually stand there. But with the stone block in it, he can stand in the stone block if grass starts growing. Grass doesn't always grow, though, so you can actually do this without grass growing. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying if it does grow, it can be a problem. Another thing you might want to do if you ever build a house like this is start like building platforms on the top. This house is built on normal ground, so it's not higher than or lower than the ground level, like the average ground level. So what you'd want to do is build platforms on the roof of your plant or house so that you can jump up, get above it, and go to the other side. Like as you can see, I'm naked and wearing or using wood, so killing zombies isn't exactly easy for me at the moment. The requirements for a house are pretty simple. You need a chair or a comfort item, the chair, the bed, the chair works. You need a table, the workbench, or a wooden table will work for that. You need a light source. A torch works just fine. There are more advanced, like chandeliers, candles, and stuff like that, but a torch works. And it needs to have a background wall that is not naturally made. If there is natural background wall where you want to build your house, you can go through and hit it with a hammer, and it will go away. The more advanced the hammer, the faster it will go away. So there's a reason to upgrade your hammer after wood. It's not like it's like you can use a wooden hammer on anything, but why use a wooden hammer and hit it 50 times when you could hit it once with a shadow hammer? Like normal, because of the die-through, I'm going to wait in this house until night is over. It doesn't actually look like I have anything that I can make. I could make a bow and arrow, so I'm going to go ahead and do that since I don't have that boomerang ranged weapon like I did last time. And I can make wooden arrows with stone and wood. I have 21 stones, so I can make 105 arrows. If I wanted, I could even set them on fire. They do more damage, but it's like 6 damage compared to 4 damage on a ranged weapon. It doesn't really matter that much. Later on, when you get into more advanced weapons, it does. Yeah, right now I'm a little bit quiet because, well, yeah, I'm just waiting for that moon to get a little bit farther. Once it gets to about here, like about where my health is, I can go outside because the night will be over soon. But at this moment, it's not really beneficial for me to go anywhere. Also, one good thing about the arrows is there's like a, I don't know the percentage, but if you, like, if I miss with this arrow, it'll come back down. And as you see, like, out of those 4 arrows I shot randomly in the air, 2 of them I could pick back up. It's not something you can count on, like, hey, my arrow's gonna come back, but there is a chance, so it does make it a slightly reusable source of damage. Also, when you start setting them on fire, you have the chance that they might come back on fire, the chance that they might come back normal. I'm going to do that with, I'm going to set one set on fire to show you that. So that one disappeared. That one turned into a normal arrow. Say that one's come down and turns back into a normal arrow. So yeah, sometimes they turn back into normal arrows. Sometimes they disappear. I think sometimes they stay on fire. I don't remember that. And since it's still nighttime, I can still collect fallen stars. The big thing with them, or the big thing with fallen stars when you first start getting them, is they actually don't last in the daytime. So, like, if you throw them out of your inventory during the day, you lose them. But as I showed you in the last video or the last episode, the stars actually, like, you don't get to do anything with them until you've made 10. 10 stars allows you to give yourself mana, but I'm going to die here, aren't I? Once you start getting mana, there are a few other things you can do with the stars, but that's much later in the game. You can make a cannon that shoots out stars, and that's kind of useful. It's one of the most powerful, like, direct damage weapons in the game. Also, the star does a bunch of damage if you can actually get it to land on a monster. It's a little bit hard to get it to land on, say, one of these zombies. But later on, some of the larger monsters, like the big worms, it's a lot easier to get it to land on them just because they take up so much of the screen. I don't know exactly how much damage it does, and it varies per different monster. I think it will do about 500 damage besides armor. So, like, if it hits a fish or a bunny, it will do about 500 or so damage. Like, right now I should actually probably just be standing still. You notice that my health regains. If you're in combat, your health will stop regaining. If you're moving, your health only regains at, I think, 1/5 of the normal speed. So sometimes you'll see me after combat just kind of stand there. Let's see, how much iron do I have? One thing I should be able to do now is I have enough iron for a chain. Let's get up here and start placing. So I can place that there. Build a chain. Let's see, with the chain and wood, I'm trying to remember how to build it. Yeah. I need something else. I'm trying to remember what it is. So I have to return to the guide, and the guide will tell me how to build. He's really useful that way. He's annoying, but he's useful. Sweet. It's nice to know there's a little bit of iron there, and what I'll do is I'll put a torch under there, so when I come back, sorry, copper, when I come back through, I can say, hey, look, there's copper, and pick it up. But honestly, I'm not actually interested in the copper right now. I think what I need stone, but I'm going back to the guide so he can tell me how much stone I need. And since I really don't want to jump over there again, I'm just going to mine through the blocks.